She was always a performer. Loving parents and two doting sisters would serve as a captive audience to a young Sharon Hinton Smith.
My sister would spend time just plucking out tunes on the piano out of the hymn book, and I would stand next to her and just sing. All day long we'd do that, and I really enjoyed that. And from there I sang my very first special at church on a Sunday morning at about 8 or 9 years old, and that was a thrill.
Early on, Sharon would be exposed to the first of many influences that would have a tremendous impact on her life.
I remember going into my sister's room when I was small, and she had the radio on, and there was a Karen Carpenter song she was singing. And as a child, I said, "Who's that? That's the voice. That's the voice."
She would also make a first attempt at songwriting.
It started out in elementary school. A friend of mine came to me and said, "Hey, let's try writing a song." And I said, "Okay." And it was something silly about my dog and my family, but needless to say, it was an attempt to writing a song.
As a child, Sharon would come up with lyrics that would appear years later in her first CD.
I was playing in a softball game. I was in elementary school. I was on second base. I remember it very clearly. And I just blurted out a short little 4-sentence poem, and it became one of the verses in my title song called Faithful.
A popular motivational speaker of the time would also become important to Sharon.
When I was about 9 years old, my mom heard of Zig Ziglar, and she bought some of his motivational tapes. And she would play them around the house when I was there. She'd play them when I wasn't there, but she made a point to play them when I was around, so I would hear the positive messages. It was just really good stuff, and he said, "You can do whatever you want to do in life."
And in time, she would begin to develop some ideas about what she wanted to do.
It wasn't until I was about in junior high that I decided that I really wanted to truly write songs and record them one day. I wanted to make a difference in other people's lives. Like music had been touching me so deeply, I wanted to do that for other people.
On a ski trip with her church youth group, she would discover a new style of music that spoke to her.
And I was introduced to my very first contemporary Christian tape. There was no such thing as a CD, it was a tape, and it was Amy Grant. Amy Grant was one of the forefront leaders in contemporary Christian music at the time, and she had started writing when she was in her teens. And I'm like, "Oh, this is like me. I want to write." And I really wanted to move other people like a lot of her songs moved me.
Sharon went on to graduate from Terry Sanford High School and then completed college at UNC Chapel Hill. She worked as a model and spent a summer on stage at Carowinds portraying some interesting characters. But she would always return to what she loved most.
I know that I was made to write. I was made to sing and to share.
For Sharon, the reason was clear.
Sharing God's word with other people and how much He loves them and cares for them. And I knew that was the most important message of all.
In 1996, she married Doug Smith, who Sharon describes as her best friend and soulmate. Within 2 years, she would release her first CD titled Faithful. She would also begin producing A Wonderful Life with Sharon Hinton Smith, a Christian music program airing on local TV.
It just brings joy to me to be able to bring joy to other people.
Now, that's Sharon every single day. I've never seen her not be that way. Even when she's having a hard time, that's still Sharon. That's how she is.
For those who know her best, it's no surprise all that Sharon has accomplished.
She is so multi-talented. Not only is she an incredible vocalist, but she's in real estate. She's a fine businesswoman. So I just see her as just being one that can do whatever she puts her mind to.
I learned so much from my parents. They're hard workers, they're honest people, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons from them.
For Sharon Hinton Smith, no matter who you are in life, one thing is certain.
Once you discover what your gifts are and what you know you are wired to do, then find ways to use those gifts, because that's where you're going to be the happiest.
We've not seen even a small part of what I think Sharon is going to accomplish in her lifetime.
She's incredible.